This is the story of Jho Low, the billion-dollar whale who fooled Wall Street, Hollywood, and the world and managed to swindle $4.5 billion through complex international financial schemes. The mastermind fugitive is currently sought by authorities in Malaysia, Singapore, and the United States for perpetrating one of the largest and most audacious financial frauds in history, bringing down a country's prime minister and earning him a 12-year prison sentence. The man who many know for his wild parties and celebrations, his fleet of luxury yachts, and his connections to create an illusion that allowed him to keep up appearances for years. Jho Low immersed himself with the glitterati and rubbed elbows with the most powerful individuals in entertainment, sports, and politics. From partying and socializing with A-listers like Kim Kardashian, Kimora Lee Simmons, Jamie Foxx, Busta Rhymes, Kasim Dean, Emily Ratajkowski, Alicia Keys, Paris Hilton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lindsay Lohan, and Miranda Kerr, Victoria's Secret model, as his girlfriend. In today's video, we will examine how Jho Low was able to fool some of the most powerful institutions in the world with his financial schemes and con the world out of billions of dollars. The Asian Great Gatsby. Low Tek Jho was born to the affluent Malaysian Chinese family on November 4th, 1981. Jho, as he's commonly known, was a prodigy from a young age, and his family had high hopes for his future. His family's wealth stemmed from iron ore mining and liquor distilleries in Thailand, as well as real estate in Malaysia, Thailand, and Hong Kong. Tan Sri Larry Low Hok Pung, Low's father, founded the investment holding company MWE Holdings, so it would be safe to say that he was from a predominantly established and well-to-do family, but he definitely wasn't uber rich. Low was the third and youngest of three children and spent his childhood in Penang Island in Georgetown. There he got his education at Chung Ling High School and the International School of Penang before moving on to the prestigious Harrow School in London. It was a school that counted among its prominent alumni the former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. At Harrow, he met many influential people, including some of the most powerful families in the world, like the royals from the Middle East and Brunei. His father had taught him early on the importance of networking, and Low didn't waste a moment. He became close friends with many of the school's elites, but his friendship with Riza Aziz, the stepson of ex-Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, would stand out the most and play an important role in his future. This early exposure to prominent members of society set the stage for his entry into international business and politics. He leveraged these relationships to further his own business ambitions, and the connections he made at Harrow helped him build a powerful network. Low then moved to the US, where he attended the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School as an undergraduate student. He continued to build strong friendships here, and it was during his time in the US that he hosted his first major party, earning him the nickname the Asian Great Gatsby. Low reportedly spent $40,000 to reserve one of Philadelphia's top nightclubs, Shampoo, for his 20th birthday. The lavish event was attended by more than 1,000 guests, and he spent an additional $7,000 on just decorations for the evening. He spared no expense in creating a memorable evening, cementing his reputation as the Asian Great Gatsby. If there's one thing that Low could be remembered for, apart from raking in $4.5 billion from his scam, it would have to be his partying tendencies. For the next few years, he continued to hold more extravagant parties at Shampoo, always outdoing the previous event. He partied like there was no tomorrow, squandering away his time and money. But it wasn't for nothing. Low saw his social life as an investment in which he could make connections with influential people that would help him grow while enjoying the finest booze that money could buy. He often hired A-list celebrities like Megan Fox, Paris Hilton, who, FYI, he had a major crush on, and Leonardo DiCaprio, among others, to show up at his events to give a feel of exclusivity, driving cost into the six figures. According to the book Billion Dollar Whale, written about Low's life, between October 2009 and June 2010, Low spent a staggering $85 million on his extravagant parties alone. But behind the scenes, the picture was very different. Low was a millionaire, but his partying ways were those of a billionaire, and he often found himself stalling payments to his venues where he partied for months on end. But this was kept safely under wraps, and to his affluent crowd, he appeared rich and successful, managing to fool the world with his fabricated image for many years through a combination of bluff and brazenness. His parties grew bigger and his connections with billionaires grew stronger, and soon enough, Jho Low established his very own company, Winton Group, and developed a reputation as an enterprising entrepreneur who had powerful connections in the Malaysian government. Low's meteoric rise to power in Malaysia. Remember that we mentioned earlier that Low was very close friends with Riza Aziz, who was the stepson of then Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, and how this would help Low greatly in the future? Now is when they come into the picture. When Low heard that Malaysia was looking for partners to develop a construction project similar to the ones in Singapore, he took full advantage of his connection with Riza Aziz, leveraging it to help Winton Group obtain contracts and secure investments from Middle Eastern investors who were interested in Malaysian products. His rise in Malaysia was swift and unprecedented. He saw an opportunity and quickly got involved, gaining the trust of Najib Razak and other high-level Malaysian officials, who saw Low's Arab connections that he had made during his study and party days and his willingness to make a deal as a valuable asset. Low subsequently used his personal connections and reputation to secure a large contract with the Malaysian government for Winton Group, which provided him access to millions of dollars in investments from Middle Eastern investors. He essentially acted like a broker between the Middle East and Malaysia. This did not only help Low, but also benefited Najib, who was at the time serving as Deputy Prime Minister. Najib was now seen by the Malay people as a politician who could help the country move forward, and as a result, Najib Razak got elected as Malaysia's Prime Minister in 2009. One Malaysia Development Berhad. By this time, Low had quickly and fully gained the trust of Najib Razak and other high-level Malaysian officials. He capitalized on his newfound acceptance, quickly becoming an integral part of the Malaysian inner circle. He had so successfully embedded himself in Malaysia that he was even allowed to sit in on meetings with the country's most powerful businessmen and influencers, giving him an intimate view of the inner workings of Malaysia's economic and political landscape. Low couldn't have found a better time or opportunity to introduce the idea of Malaysia creating its own sovereign wealth fund, an idea that he had garnered on one of his trips to the Middle East and with his Arab billionaire friends. For those unaware, sovereign wealth funds are essentially government-owned investment funds that are usually created using extra funds or reserves, i.e. the accumulated wealth of a country over a period of time. Countries like Norway, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, which export a lot of goods, often use them to maintain stable national budgets, help residents save money, and stimulate economic growth. And as a result, One Malaysia Development Berhad was formed, the project that eventually turned into the now infamous 1MDB scandal, with Low at the center of it all. The brainchild of Low and Najib Razak, the fund was meant to be a state-run fund that would invest in projects for public benefit as a way to drive economic growth and stability in Malaysia. But the fund turned into a complete disaster that looted billions of dollars from the Malaysian people and, in the end, caused devastating damage to Malaysia's economy. How exactly did this happen, you wonder? When Najib became Malaysia's Prime Minister, he attributed a large portion of his success to Jho Low, and thus he deemed it wise to give Low control of the fund, believing that whatever Low did would be in the best interest of Najib and the country. But little did he know that Low had his own agenda. Officially, Najib was the fund chairman, but in reality, Low controlled everything. The first investment by the fund was to be made in a joint venture with a Saudi Arabian oil corporation, an investment opportunity brought by Low, where the oil project was meant to receive a massive investment of $1 billion from 1MBD. Here's what Low did. He only gave the oil firm $300 million and the rest, $700 million, went to a company called Good Star Ltd, which Low said was owned by Saudi Arabia. But in reality, Good Star Ltd was nothing more than a shell company that was solely owned by Jho Low. To cover up his misdeeds, he used a shell company and offshore accounts to conceal the movement of money and prevent authorities from tracing it. This deceitful act of using a shell company to conceal the $700 million enabled Low to escape detection and avoid the law for many years, and he thoroughly enjoyed his life during those years, living off of the money he had stolen without consequence. He partied with celebrities and politicians, traveled to different countries, and even purchased a super yacht for himself. As his wealth and power grew, Low's decadent lifestyle became increasingly grandiose. He was unstoppable and seemingly untouchable. It appeared as if he would never have to face the consequences of his immoral actions until, of course, his luck ran out one day. In 2015, a whistleblower leaked emails to the press, revealing the extent of Low's criminal activities. This was the beginning of the end for Low, and in the years that followed he became an international fugitive, and was charged with money laundering and other financial crimes. His swift downfall from powerful figure to convicted criminal was a shock to many. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Malaysian citizens took to the streets in protest against the corrupt behavior of their leaders, some waving signs that said "We want justice" or "Return our money." In May 2019, Najib was voted out, with his party losing for the first time in 60 years. And in July, Najib was charged with 38 counts of criminal breach of trust, abuse of power, and money laundering. The election result and the charges against Najib served as vindication of justice for those who had suffered during his tenure. The magnitude of Najib's corruption scandal was unprecedented, with an estimated total of $4.5 billion embezzled. While Najib faced the fury of his people, Jho Low vanished. Some claim he is in China, still living it up, but under the radar and away from the spotlight that he so dearly loved. Despite being on the run, the Malaysian government is certain that justice will be served and that Low will be held accountable for his role in the incident. In the end, only time will tell. It was a daring scam to say the least, and one that could not have been successful if Low had not taken full advantage of his privileged access to the fund. His motivations for the scam were never fully revealed, but it's not rocket science. The man loved luxury and desired nothing more than to live the life of a billionaire, owning luxury yachts and private jets, and for that, he needed a lot of money. 1MDB became a case study in corruption and greed, which only highlighted the power that people in position and influence can have when there's a lack of oversight. This scandal has been going on since 2009 and is still going on. It raises major concerns about the management of the 1MDB fund and how a financier with a questionable track record got control of it. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed our content, please be sure to like our video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Leave your comments in the comment section down below of where you think Jho Low currently is hiding, and we'll see you in the next one.